Yeah. All right. Well, welcome everyone. I'm assuming that in a minute we're going to have a bunch of Twitch comments saying that I had the entire thing muted for the last 30 seconds, and yes, I did, but oh well. Life goes on. Welcome everyone to the stream. This is a special version because we've got everyone here tonight, and originally we were going to spend the time talking about kind of a lot of things to do with all the admin side of stuff, to do with what Jebus and Hawk are up to, but honestly we've got so many people here we could talk about whatever. This is just such a big hype moment for the LAN. I know Cthulhu's not on the podcast tonight because he had to get an early night for his flight at 3:45 tomorrow morning. I'm heading in, my flight's at 10 o'clock. Sky will be coming down tomorrow night.
Out.
You're flying out
at 1 a.m.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
1 a.m.
That's rough.
It's gonna be good fun.
Well, it's gonna be crazy ride from here. What time did you guys get there? All of you players.
12:40 yesterday.
So you've been chilling out since then, not really doing any work, you know?
No, we've been playing. We went to the studio for like 5 hours testing the PCs.
Nice.
I'll test PCs any day.
And now you guys are going to be even louder, which is even better. Magnet smiling for the camera once again. So, I mean, going on what we're going to talk about tonight, it would be kind of interesting to hear a little bit from Hawk and Jebus if you guys are able. Tell us a little bit about how you actually got started into everything that you do at the moment.
If you want to hold off for 2 minutes, get to a webcam.
Oh, yep, sure. Well, in that case.
Maybe we should talk to SenZ a little bit about her role. Obviously, recently being, I guess, promoted to an ESL admin. I guess, sort of, what does your role involve, SenZ?
At the moment, I am pretty much just helping out Jebus and Hawk, doing the types of things that they were doing with the tournaments beforehand. And I'll be acting as a warm-up admin for ESL at the LAN. It's gonna be good fun.
So lots of behind-the-scenes stuff at the LAN?
Pretty much.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be good fun.
So how did you get into what you've been doing with R6ANZ from the start? What was the first thing that happened to you that got you into everything?
That would be Jebus going, "Hey, you're good with people, right?" I'm like, "What?" Because apparently at the time I wasn't having issues with anybody in the community, so I was a good. Also, absolutely pathetic at Twitter. So he was just like, "Hey, do you know how to use the Twitter?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Well, here, I have a Twitter." I'm like, "What?"
I think you've learned how to use it from now.
Yeah, I think I figured it out. Oh yeah.
So while we wait for Jebus and Hawk to get out of the car and to wherever they're going, why don't you guys, as players, tell us a little bit about what it's like actually being flown out to a proper event to play at LAN. I mean, you haven't played yet, but you've been probably getting really hyped up for it.
What's good? Riz?
Oh,
We've been scrimming the Asian teams all day.
oh, nice.
That's such a generic term.
So have you been meeting the players face to face? A lot of the players from SEA and Korea and Japan?
Yeah, I've met them all. Yeah, I think all but 2 teams are here. I mean, Tide's back, or Cryptic now, so they recognise us.
Mm-hmm.
But we, I think we're not allowed to scrim our immediate team on Saturday's match, so we've like scrimmed every other team but Saturday morning's match.
So what's it like there? I mean, when you wake up in the morning, what kind of a place are you staying in? Is this massive lodge? Is it just a hotel with rooms of 2, rooms of 4?
It's a big apartment, floor, like a room, and there's 3 bedrooms with 2 beds in each of them with 2 bathrooms. And I mean, you can see we fit like 10 people in our little rumpus room.
And the facility, yeah. Well, the facilities where you've been scrimming and doing your practice and everything, what's that like? I mean, obviously, going somewhere where there are actual computers. Are you going to the studio for that?
Yeah, so the studio's got like a back room. And I think there's like 20 PCs set up there. And so we scrim on those. Like there's like 2 rows of 10, so like 10 on this side, then the other side. And then they've got like a little lounge in the corner and beanbags and stuff, and they're playing like old Pro League games on a big screen. So most of our day in a dark room in front of computers, like a true PC player.
Like always, you know. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I've got a really quick question. Have you guys seen like the venue, like the stage and all that, or is that yet to be set up?
We saw it was very bare bones, but I'm halfway through setting up today, and they're still doing a bit tonight. Hopefully we'll see it tomorrow, but we're on a social media ban, so we can't post any pictures until they tell us we can.
Oh,
Yeah, of course.
I'm
Everyone's on the edge of their seats.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing the studio tomorrow and seeing all the places that you've been talking about and everything. What's it like playing in the same room as your team compared to playing on the other side of Australia, potentially?
I mean, my guys, it's a lot better because Mag and Lusty and Kings are very noisy people. So when they can like each other from 2 meters away and do it, yeah, it's entertaining.
You sort of like get closer with your teammates though, if you know what I mean. Like you can actually
literally closer.
Like literally like communicate to them.
Yeah.
Much better than playing online.
What are you guys looking forward to most this weekend?
Winning. Yeah, well, we're going to try to do our best. Well, Corvette and us, we may think we can go to the finals, so hopefully we can do that just after based on today. But, like, they're just little practice sort of games. I don't know how hard their teams are trying. We don't know how hard we were trying, apparently. But we'll just see how it goes on Saturday. Real excited, though.
One other thing that I'm curious about is, does it feel very different in-game when you're playing on LAN versus playing, far apart? Is the ping difference, like, is that noticeable?
100%.
Hitbridge is amazing.
Yeah, like, you'll never want to play Siege online again.
Don't tell me that. I'm never going to get to play LAN.
When you get here tomorrow, play a game and you'll see.
Oh.
Ash dies.
I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah.
Team at the Invitational didn't actually play on like a real LAN, so we never experienced it. And the boys got on today, and it was just like insane. Like everything was hitting, everything was like really, really reactive.
Wow.
Yeah, 100% offline build, local game modes, and yeah, the hit rate is incredible.
So, are you guys just carrying around a bag with like your mouse and keyboard in it constantly, just like plugging it in when you're playing?
Yeah, mostly like when you take your bags down, they get locked in a room, and you just sort of unplug your mouse and keyboard and get put in your bag, and you bring it back out. Because we have 40 PCs, they got to keep swapping every now and then, but they're working out a schedule for tomorrow.
Cool. So you're competing with, for scrim time, you're competing with all the other teams that also want to be scrimming, and there's only a set number of computers, so you have to work out a schedule for that.
Yeah, and it's hard because we can't play our direct competitors, and when they're the ones that are there. But like Corv's competitors aren't there, for example, because they haven't flown in yet. There's 2 teams that arrive tomorrow. So Corv are getting more scrims than we are because they've got more teams to scrim.
Mm-hmm. So, what's it? Sorry, we might be getting Jebus in just a moment. Looks like. Not quite yet, though, apparently. So we'll have to see about that. Well, what's it like in terms of just the transport from where you're staying up to the studio? Is it something that's kind of difficult? Do you guys have a party bus, or how's it working?
Well, they got a shuttle bus, and it seats like 24 people, but then they've got like a little lit silver van that MF get driven around in person.
Cool, how do you feel about that?
Like, if too many people wait for the last shuttle, they got a spare one, but if not, there's like a 25-seater bus.
Yeah. I believe Jebus and Hawk are here now. Hey guys. Oh god, that was loud.
Try not to die, guys.
Hey guys, you here now?
Yeah, we were trying to download Discord onto the laptops and the shitty old apartment Wi-Fi, but does not seem to want to work.
Oh no! Cancel where?
Mag, could you just do me a favour, mate, and just stop talking?
What? Excuse me. Susie.
He wants you to stop talking. Just you, Magnet.
It's just hot, and that's all.
Now, we heard a little bit about SenZ and about how SenZ got to where she is now, and kind of her experience with starting up in the community and coming over into her more senior position now, working with ESL. And we heard a bit about what it's like actually being at the studio in Sydney and in the apartment for the players here. But what about you, Jebus, and you, Hawk? What was your origin? How did you actually get into this? I mean, Jebus, your story goes a long way back. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how everything started?
Well, just shy of 2 years ago, I pretty much bought Rainbow Six Siege for the Steel case, as I was in a really dark phase of the Steel book collection, which I completely regret these days. The amount of money I wasted on those. And started playing the game and ended up loving it. Joined up with the old clan Aussie Underdogs that aren't around these days, unfortunately. Did try to restructure a few times, but you know, Aussie Underdogs. And then there was a falling between me and one of the core members, and I ended up leaving the clan. I was looking forward to it. And then a couple of days later, it was Kameen. Actually, it came into our community Discord and says, "Hey, we need 2 Siege admins, one for PC and one for Xbox. You can't be in a team." I went, well, hey, you know what? This must be fate. So I put my hand up and started their online volunteering back in January this year. After a lot of volunteer work, I was invited to help out at IM. They flew me down, accommodation and flights all paid for. At IM, which was a massive and awesome event. Even though I was this going, I'm sorry guys, but it still was a great event. And then I got told as I was at the airport leaving to go home after IEM that, hey, Rainbow Six Siege has got a huge future ahead of it in ANZ. We'll get back to you soon. And, you know, about a month or a bit too later, get the details about the Pro League, about Invitational. And then it turned into pretty much a paid job. I'm still working my main job at the casino up in Cairns, far north Queensland. But from pretty much I'm just getting flown for ESL events now, which is all paid for. The work I do. A lot of the online stuff is still volunteer work, but it's definitely draining and a lot of time gets taken up by that.
So do you think that it's going to get to the point where it can be your main and only job? You won't have to keep your day job?
Not in the near future, maybe in the next year or two, definitely. Without revealing any details whatsoever. You can ask Hawk, because Hawk didn't sign his NDA today. Siege definitely has a massively bright future in not just ANZ, but APAC as a whole. So at the end of this year, that's not just it, you know, there is still stuff to come.
Hawk, why don't you... Welcome, Hawk, by the way. You just popped in.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, thanks. We've got a massive party going on here with all of the players in the hotel. And, well, we've just been talking a little... Yeah, Mindfreak and Corvidae. I see the Mindfreak jumper out there. That's product placement. I don't know if I can tolerate that, by the way, guys.
Lusty did wear a Corvidae shirt the first day on Wednesday, which I honestly thought was the best thing ever.
What?
I thought Lusty got over that phase.
We'll never need over the Corvidae phase.
So, Hawk, we talked a little bit to everyone here about kind of how they got into what they're doing now. I mean, I remember this was a long time ago, but I just remember playing Siege and playing a match with you and sending you a friend request and playing some games. And then ages later, when I actually joined the R6ANZ Discord and got into the comp scene, I realized, oh, this guy's actually an important person in this scene. I didn't actually realize that at first. So tell us a little bit about how it all started for you.
Well, I first got into the game thanks to Swagman. We decided to form Jolly Esports, which started pretty early on. Most of you would probably know it. After, I think, 5 or 6 months of playing, I sort of lost interest in playing competitively, but I love the community because of R6ANZ. So I talked to Jebus and asked if I could be involved in the community more, and this was when the whole Sonic thing was going on, so he offered me a role with ESL. And from there, it's just sort of grown.
So what do you actually do as a part of your work with ESL?
He takes
My
all
job?
the blame for what happens.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a lot of it. Most of it comes down to just me helping Jebus set up and run the cups. And on days where he's working late, I usually just run them myself.
Yeah.
I've got a quick question for Hawk and Magnet. This one's for Elastic. He asked this one.
Here we go.
What's gonna happen with the parkour battle?
The parkour back.
I'm gonna break some ankles!
Whoa!
And there you go. Magnet wins. God damn it.
Amazing.
Hawk, you gotta show us something next. Come on.
I'll do
Next
something
time.
at land. When you come to invitation.
This weekend, I need to see this.
Yeah, sure thing.
You're a,
something, put it out on SenZ.
are you a skateboarder, Hawk?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm a tracer, so I do parkour.
Oh, you actually do parkour. That's the background.
Yeah, I actually do parkour.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna have to show us something then.
Yeah, I'll find something that I can show.
I have a very important question for you, mate.
Yep.
Would you like a large McChicken meal?
Yes, I want a large McChicken meal.
Roger that.
Alright, cheers.
We'll tell you the story about that in a second stream.
I feel there's gonna be a lot more of that this weekend.
It's not a zinger. It's a large McChicken.
KFC is closed, so that's really unfortunate.
Nothing can fill that void in your life, can it?
Does anybody know if Macca's is still doing the 20 nuggets for $10? No? Alright.
I guess a quick question for Jebus, Hawk, and SenZ, without revealing anything, because obviously you can't because of NDA. I guess, where do you want for sort of the AU Siege scene to go in the future? If it was completely up to you.
No what?
No
Corvidae.
Oh.
Very cool day.
Oh.
Warden wants to know if you're in Sydney the whole time. What? Get off. Who? Hello? Hello? Never mind. Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
What?
Can you hear me?
But Sky, in answer to your question, mate, we want to see... Okay, we're being biased here, but we want to see ANZ go international. For Mindfreak, it would be a second time, but I truly, truly want our ANZ teams to go international. And no offense to the Mindfreak and Corfiday guys who have honestly put up with a lot of my shit the last couple of days and we having a good laugh about it. I do want to see some of our other teams either make LAN or go international or whatsoever. I mean, we do want to churn out a lot of Mindfreak and Corviday press stuff. It looks good for our scene, but what I think we truly end up needing in the end game is we can't just have 2 well-known teams. We have to have 4, 6, 8 very well-known teams. Not if all 8 don't need to play a LAN. We want to be able to have a stats screen up on a stream sometime in the future, where we can say championships won or LANs won, and it's not just going to be 1 out of 1 or 0 out of 1. We want to have lands won 10 out of 20, 10 out of 40. You know what I mean? We need a lot more actual lands in order for this scene to truly blossom, and you guys deserve it because it has been 2 years since we've been shown any sort of love. And we had community cups, free community cups for 20 weeks, 22 weeks, a couple of weeks break. And you guys still showed up, and that's absolutely amazing. And the only reason we are here today is because you guys showed up for those community cups. And you guys just keep showing up to go forwards. Keep supporting your scene. Once this Pro League is actually over and the team's going off to Brazil, don't give up. There is stuff coming. All right? And the only way we can actually make it internationally, not just with Corvette and H4WK or Mind Freak, all the other top teams, which are, Spice Rum, keep showing up. Keep supporting your scene. Excuse my language on the stream. I have actually not watched a podcast in full, so I'm not too sure if this stuff flies. But fuck the other teams, the other regions. ANZ for life, guys. Or I should say APAC, because
Share the love with the Asian regions as well.
Shin Bagel is probably the most chillest dude I have ever met.
No, that's me.
I
I do apologize for being on my phone. The story behind the Big Mac meal question, or the McChicken meal to Hawk, was we ordered pizzas 6 hours ago to be delivered to the studio for everybody, staff and players, to eat. And it is now 10:40, and they're still making the pizzas. And at lunch, I haven't eaten since last night.
Look, you'll get them tomorrow, and they'll be really good pizzas.
Oh, someone's actually said, one guy, his name's Mikester online, he's our production sort of dude. He's actually stayed behind the studio, so when the pizzas do show up, he's just going to hold them to himself.
You would have bought out of pizzas.
Yeah.
It was downright embarrassing. I mean, it was out of ESL's control for sure, but we promised the teams dinner, and the dinner did get delivered to their hotel room eventually. We said, hey, dinner will be at 6. Cool, get ready to eat. And then, it's now 10:40 and the pizza's still on their way.
They didn't specify what time zone the dinner would be getting there in. Okay.
Honestly, it was, I don't know what pizza joint it was, but they've lost any ESL business that we're ever going to get.
Unlucky.
Sky, would you have
And
something
that's
to say?
Yeah, I guess moving on now to SenZ and Hawk. I guess where do you sort of see it going in the future? Probably pretty similar to Jebus, I'd say.
Pretty much the same. I would like us to be a well-known region, not necessarily just a couple of teams. And it would be nice if some of the other regions took us the tiniest bit more seriously, but we've got to prove it to them first. So respect doesn't come from nowhere.
Yeah. That's what I've been thinking with. Now I'm hearing myself twice, and that's incredibly disconcerting. But like what you were saying about being known as a region rather than being known as specific teams, 1 or 2 teams being known internationally, I think it would be amazing just for people to say, Kickstar and Bloodbath and Emzo and everyone talking on their cast and saying oh, this is what we're seeing right here. This is really something that we would see coming out of the APAC meta, specifically the ANZ region. This is really something we would see coming out of that scene. And we're just not at that point yet. We just don't have that kind of renown and level of identity, and really having that, I think, would mean so much to the scene.
It just means that we got to keep fighting hard and keep being good sportsmen. Have good sportsmanship. English sucks. And just pretty much show that respect to everybody else that is in the scene, even if they're annoying the absolute crap out of you. Because the things that you do early on, people will usually remember later. So you can do something that could be considered quite rude, and people will remember it even if you make it big and get really respected. They'll just be like, oh yeah, you remember that one time you were a complete ass? Yeah. So we just gotta keep fighting and just keep being polite and awesome. That is pretty much my view on it.
I like the attitude. I think it's the best way to be. I'm personally really impressed to see how far everything has come from, like Jebus was saying, having unpaid, free community cups, to having an actual pro league announced, to having all, like, the level of catastrophe that created for our scene was immense for so many teams that couldn't play, so many teams that had to reform. Scylla was like a top 3 team in our region, and then just disappeared because most of the players were under 18 and there were serious issues, and like all these teams fell apart, all these teams, like, and the teething problems of that are still around now. And now we've had an invitational. We're having our second LAN with finals with teams from all over the APAC region, and that level of growth and that level of things changing in such a short space of time is kind of amazing, and it just makes me excited for whatever's about to happen next. And Magnet's just doing a handstand, so no one's listening anyway. Thanks, Magnet.
I haven't read Discord in a few days, so this might actually be public knowledge by now. So forgive me if I am just reiterating a few information that you need. We're going to have a fair few R6ANZ staff be at APAC LAN this weekend, other than myself and Hawk. We're going to have Monkey Fist, Emflea, Devmarta, and Cthulhu as casters for the LAN. And our very own Sky will be helping out the main observer, so the spectator, essentially. And all this has pretty much come from these guys just putting in so much unpaid hard work, especially Sky. His only downfall is he's a bit younger than the rest of us, and that's the only reason he's got turned down for a lot of the things. But Kameen, great guy. He's given Sky a chance. Sorry, excuse me. And so Sky will be helping out the APAC LAN, which is just beyond any awesome dream, I'm so glad you guys are all here. I can't believe that the event is sold out, so I just have no clue who will be showing up on Saturday and Sunday to support the teams. And the fact that we started this essentially a year and a half ago, just as pretty much a project just to get people into a community server and talk, and it's just blown up. We're working, the community itself, not ESL, the community is actively working with Ubisoft Australia. That's just absolutely incredible. It really, really is. And while I'm on it, and do remember, today marks the day, 1 year to the day, Fluke Meister left Cybergamer Raid.
Who's that?
Of course you've got that written down somewhere or something silly, Jebus. Jeez.
Alright guys, I think we're just about to wrap up. We just have one last thing that we've got to do. So we have to announce the EB Games gift card winners from SenZ. So SenZ, take it away.
Alright, so it's taken a little bit longer to get it sorted than I had it originally intended. The delightful console plebs didn't send me any videos except for Elastic, and he's a mod, so he couldn't win anyway. But the winner was chosen from 2. You had a video from Svenbert, but unfortunately the one that did win was Silex, because Spaz is indeed a special bandit. Hey, I went off the upvotes in the Discord. If someone is unhappy with this, you should have voted for the one you wanted to win, and got everyone else to.
Default? Wow, this is so corrupt.
We will play the clip for you when Dev gets it up and running.
I have it up and running. I can run it as soon as we're ready. So I think we'll just sign off. Yep, we'll sign off and then run the clip. I think.
Alright, well, I guess I'll say goodbye. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to tonight's hot podcast. Big thank you to our guests, Jebus, SenZ, and Hawk, and obviously all the guys from Corvidae and Mindfreak who have tuned in last minute, given us their, what do you call it?
Their presence, their beautiful presence. And obviously big thank you to Dev. I think that's about it. We'll probably play that clip for you guys now. Yeah. See you guys.
Thank you.
See ya.
Losers.
See ya.
Oh, there go your ADS.
Get the bar, like, bandit, bandit, bandit!
Bandit what? It's all bandited.
On my Habana thing!
On the mirror,
mirror
dude.
thing. Shoot it, what the fuck are you doing? Shoot it from the other side!
Dude, there's
Oh
a
my
Habana
God.
charge on this. What the fuck? What the fuck, man?
I was wondering, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about, man? I was so... Oh, there was a hit, okay, okay.
Wide is open, yeah, he fucked it.
Bandit, shoot them, please. Bandit, shoot them. Thank you.
I'm coming, Solix, I gotcha! I down one. But, yeah. You just sit
Oh
there.
my fucking god, that was amazing.
I was so confused what you were asking, like...
I was so confused with what you were doing.
You're like, Hibana! My thing, I'm like, oh, he's gonna try Hibana, okay, I'll ban him.
What's this?
Hey there guys, before you leave we actually have one last very special thing. It's a special highlights reel which has been, you know, formally approved by Ubisoft, and we've got these for you. It's kind of like a highlights video to tell you a little bit about the ANZ teams that we have going to LAN. So there's one for Mindfreak and one for Corvidae, and they have been made by the fantastic Elastic and voiceovered by the fantastic Monkey Fist, our headcaster. And I'm going to play them for you in just a moment. I just have to set them up, so if you do bear with me, we will be hearing them in just a moment, and I'm really excited because I personally think that these are fantastically done and really professional, and they deserve everyone watching them, and I believe that it's highly likely that they will be shown across the weekend over the LAN, potentially as an introduction to the teams, but you know, you want to see it here first. You really do. I've seen these and they're just so professional and well done. You definitely don't want to miss out on it now. So I'm just going to keep talking so you don't go away. I've got to wait like a minute or so just to set this up, but you know, this is going to be really, really worth it if you do stick around. So I myself am heading off to the APAC LAN on my flight tomorrow at 10:20 a.m. and I'm absolutely stoked. I'm just sorting out my transport now. I've packed up my fancy looking suit, I've packed up my toothbrush and everything, my book, ready to sit on a plane for a few hours all the way from Melbourne, which is not very far honestly, compared to where a lot of people have come from. And I'm just really stoked. I'm looking forward to heading on to the studio at 4 o'clock with the other casters, chilling out, meeting everyone face to face. I'm keen to find that backstage room where we've got all the scrim computers set up, say hello to all the guys there, and just, you know, chilling with them. I want to see what it's like to play on LAN. I mean, I'm not really going to stand much of a chance next to the level of, you know, the Corvidae strats. No way I'm going to stand a chance against that, but I think it'd be fun just to kind of play around with them and chill out. So I'm really excited for that. And I just think it's going to be a fantastic weekend, and I'm like really impressed that we have completely sold out the tickets. This to me is just amazing. Like, completely sold out tickets to an event is honestly just awesome. So look, I'm really close. Just got to get this media source add this media source. For anyone who hasn't used OBS, you don't understand. You don't understand the level of difficulty I'm going through right now. But it's all good. We got this going. Here we go. First up, we do have the Call of the Day video. I'm about to play it for you, so sit back and enjoy, guys. Well, let me troubleshoot this for a sec. Honestly, I can't tell whether it's working, so look, can you tell me in the stream if it is working in the next 5 or so seconds? Alright, apparently it's not working. That's awesome. So, give me another minute. Add a new scene. Sort this out the old-fashioned way. Video capture device, that's not what we want. We want media source. Grab that media source number 3. Open that up. Browse for the file we're looking for. Here's the Mindfreak one. Give this one a shot. See whether this plays when I go transition. Here you go, guys. Enjoy.
Mindfreak are a tight-knit team. They've definitely come a long way since Montreal earlier this year.
Pushing towards the side, and Silex starts to get the plant happening. He's going to be in the corner, is it? Is Pun actually pushing through? Good shotgun kill, onto one, onto two. Another one drops down. Can he get the third? He can. Pun with a secondary.
And King's going to be very, very aggressive here as Fletch finds him. Aces takes out Rizraz. Aces finds the second one, and Jack Day. Aces gets a 3K with Wildman. And he's on a slither of health now. 2 versus 3 here. Warden and Fletch have got a lot of work to do.
4K bases!
4K! Only one left!
At the 6th Invitational, Mindfreak learnt a lot, and they came back and brought it to the Australian scene. If anything, it has just made them hungry to learn and get better, and that's what we've seen. It's pretty amazing how this team can just swap platforms and go from dominating one scene to being the top 2 teams of another. It's pretty spectacular. And I think that Mindfreak are definitely going to be excited for this LAN and to be able to see how the other regions at APAC play. If they don't win, I know they're just going to come back stronger and stronger and aren't going to stop at APAC.
Magnet finds Titus to 4 versus 2. Mindfreak's so close, but Schmed goes down as well. That's going to be it.
Don't go anywhere, guys. Here we have straight up for you the Call of the Day video. Enjoy.
When you think of Call of the Day, you think of Wildman. Often touted as the best player ANZ, he has so often been on the top competitive team for our region.
Pun coming above, looking to drop the hatch. He's going to be pre-firing, looking for Wildman, and Wildman finds Pun. Ladies and gentlemen, it's looking like Call of the Day will claim victorious on map number 1. Wildman even manages to find Kings after a beautiful 4K. Talk about this man. He completely clutches that round there.
Call of the Day have gone through many different iterations. The current lineup added Jack Daddy, Warden and Fletch. These 3 players have been friends for a very long time, playing multiple games together. It really brought the synergy to this team, which they rely on so much.
On you unless they push on out. You gotta see what is he doing there. Wildman just runs on in, pre-fires one area and loses the diffuser.
Yeah, that's not going to be too good at all. Wildman going down for Call of the Day, but Rizraz responds. He's doing some work on towards Nesp and Shade.
The final part of this Call of the Day puzzle is Rizraz. He missed out in the first 2 qualifiers due to his age, which saw Call of the Day come in the top 8 each time, but not first. The following 2 qualifiers, including him, saw them take first each time.
Oh, gets one shot. Oh no, Rizraz turns around the flick. GG's.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Good night, and I will see you on screen, on stream, tomorrow. See you later, guys. Have a good one.